I
Could delegates start making their way back into the hall and take your seats now? We'll be starting at 6:30.
There are still plenty of empty seats. Could people please make their way into the hall for the next session? It's starting promptly at 6:30. Thank you.
meetings after this session.
You're all Jerry. So just for this session,
We'll regroup in there.
Could people start to take their seats, please? Delegates will be starting in 2 or 3 minutes if people could take their seats.
Thank you for making your way into the hall. If people in the hall could please take their seats as swiftly as possible.
crowded.
Seven for them, yeah.
Okay, could everybody take their seats, please? We'll be starting in a minute or two.
If there's any stragglers, just want to make your way into the hall, be great. And then could people please take their seats promptly? Thank you.
Okay, everybody, could you take your seats now? We'll be starting momentarily. And BQ. Sí she is, gach in le the hall, sí she is. Well, gach in a rake.
Been a long journey from the Bogside in the early 1970s through to where I found myself today, and I'm very proud of all that I've done during the course of that time. You know, as someone who has died in the war, Irish Republican, I passionately want to see the reunification of my country, and I want to see all of our children, including the children of Unionists on the Shankill Road and Loyalists on the Shankill Road, grew up in a country which is respectful of them and is prepared to develop an economy and prosperity for them in a way that sees politicians who have a responsibility, in particular for them, have control of their own affairs. And I just see how we can ever do that while we are linked to what I consider to be a very backward-looking British government.
To Falshiro, Valega Shaw and you, could I begin by thanking everyone for attending here this evening, and indeed welcoming you all here this evening to a tribute and a celebration of one of our own, of the life of one of our own, of our hero, of our leader, of the family man, of the freedom fighter, our very own Martin McGuinness. This is, of course, the first gathering of an Ardèche without Martin, and I'm sure, like many others over the past number of days, you found yourself looking towards the leadership and the panel, and there's an obvious void amongst us all. There's a sore void, but I have absolutely no doubt that whilst he's not here in body tonight, he is certainly here in spirit. And if he were here tonight, I'm sure, like us all, he would be deeply heartened and encouraged and enthused by this year's Ardèche, for what an Ardèche we've had. I've no doubt that he would be particularly encouraged by the large number of young people who not only put themselves forward in terms of leadership positions over the past 2 days, but also showed not just the willingness, but the capability of taking forward our struggle. And I have no doubt that Martin would be so proud of the young people here today. Martin was all about change. Martin knew that change was needed in his own native town of Derry in the 1970s, and Martin stood up and made himself counted by joining the IRA at the time when he did. Martin was a proud member of the IRA. In Derry, his own native town, the town he loved so well, Martin looked upon what was happening in his own doorsteps. He's seen the gerrymandering, the lack of equality, the inequality towards housing and jobs, and Martin stood up and was counted. Martin showed leadership even as a young man. And in 1972, as the world looked on in disarray and horror at the streets of Derry when they seen what happened in Bloody Sunday, even at that time, Martin McGuinness was a leader in his community. In everything he done, Martin brought with him energy. He had an unassuming charisma, one that anyone who met him could no doubt go away and not be warmed by the person that they had met. He had a love for his family, a love for his friends, and indeed a love for Ireland. And that was evident for everyone to see, and anyone that met Martin McGuinness knew that he held all of those qualities. A revolutionary, a man who celebrated the small things in life whilst meeting the huge challenges that he faced in his life as well. From arrests, to fly fishing, to raids, and indeed funerals, to walking Buttons and Inch Island and walking with Bernie in the place he loved so well in the Greening of Ailech. He brought the peace of Ireland onto the world stage. But what he loved to do more than anything was to be surrounded by his family on a Sunday during Sunday dinner. Martin McGuinness was an all-round man, a man who we all should be extremely proud of. Through the hard times and the good times, Martin led and convinced people every day of the week that the Republican struggle and a new Ireland was indeed a reality for the people of our country. So this is why tonight we celebrate and we offer a tribute to a great man, to a gentleman, to a giant, a hero, my inspiration, and indeed a proud Derry man. But do not cry or shed a tear for Martin, for he is with us, smiling over us today. Indeed, his infectious laugh resonates in this very room. Every home he visited, every meeting room he entered, and every heart that he touched will always remember the gentleman that was Martin McGuinness. So do what Martin would have done. And I'll repeat the words of one of his fondest and best friends and our leader, Gerry Adams. If you want freedom, go out and take your freedom. Freedom for everyone. So tonight, comrades, let's celebrate and let's commemorate the life of Martin McGuinness. And in his own words, up the rebels.
Amen, Margaret.
Purple heathered hillsides clothe the peaty bogs. Leaching streams of water, swimming pools for frogs.
Down along the glenside, a rich brown vein does run.
To meet and greet another beneath the rising sun.
Here between twin bridges, the Crana springs to life.
Amid kamikaze midges, where Fowler found his wife.
At Castle Gates, salmon waits, out in the swilly blue.
For destiny, a leaper's spate to bring her home so true. A creator with an earthly face deemed his plan would make.
This valley, a perfect place to gather raindrops in the lake.
agad.
I'd be very proud to have been part of building Sinn Féin, and building Sinn Féin to a point where we're now, you know, the second largest political party in the north, and at some stage in the future, within striking distance of being the largest political party. But to be asked by Sinn Féin to be chief negotiator through some of the most important historic negotiations that the Senate has ever seen has been a great honour, and what we've all achieved has been remarkable. We've brought peace, and we have brought an opportunity to create a pathway towards the eventual reunification of our country.
And now, Accordia, I invite Bernie McGuinness and Jerry Adams to come to the stage. Yeshje Gorev Anam Delish, Goremahagwev Galer. Can we extend our thanks to our musicians, Matt Malloy, Clan O'Crohur, the Bonnie Men, one of whom was decidedly a woman and not a man, just to make that point. And of course, a warm appreciation to the newly elected or recently elected MP for Foyle, our very own Alicia McCallion. So, our next speaker will be very well known and very well loved by very many of you. He's spoken at several of our Ardeshina and at Sinn Féin centenary events, and let me tell you, this speaker raises the roof every single time. He's drawn others to Ireland in support of our goals of justice, of equality, and of Irish unity. And his words are powerful, but he goes much more beyond words in his support for Sinn Féin. When the proclamation was written, it very consciously made a reference to our exiled children in America. And there has always been a strong support and link for the Irish Republican cause, for a free Ireland and our international family, especially in the United States of America. So our next speaker is a proud Irish American in that tradition and a leader in defence of workers' rights. His roots are in the Kingdom of Kerry. Martin Ferris has given the thumbs up. So he is a genuine, fully minted Kerry man. So it is my very great honour to introduce the General President of the Labourers International Union of North America, our very good friend, Terry O'Sullivan. Raise the roof for him.
I'm doing well. How about you? Good. Thank you, Mary Lou, for that very kind introduction. Mary Lou is the real deal. She is someone that I have the, give it up. There you go. She is someone that I have the utmost respect and admiration for. She is a champion of economic and social justice who stands with and stands for and with the poor and the working class. And she works tirelessly each and every day to advance the cause, the purpose, and the mission of Sinn Féin, all the while showing us what it takes and what it means to be a true labor leader and political leader. So thank you, Mary Lou, for all that you do. My friends, it's good to be here today, back in the great city of Dublin, in my ancestral homeland, with all my strong, proud, and united Irish Republican brothers and sisters. And it's once again a great honor to be with somebody who is a personal hero of mine. In Ireland's long, proud history, few people have worked harder or accomplished as much for the nation and for her people than Gerry Adams. Jerry is a bridge builder and a peacemaker who has fundamentally changed Ireland for the better. When Ireland is finally united and free, something that I believe I will see in my lifetime, it will be because of Irish patriots like Jerry Adams. My dear friend, as always, I'm privileged and humbled to be with you here tonight. I also want to recognize Sinn Féin representative to the United States, Rita O'Hare. The only person I'm afraid of in my life, but it's Sinn Féin later in the North, Michelle O'Neill. Rita truly embodies the fighting Irish spirit. She's devoted her life to and fought for and sacrificed for the cause. She is one of the toughest, tenacious, most resilient individuals that I've ever had the opportunity to meet. Michelle grew up amongst Irish Republicans. She has never forgotten where she came from or how far we have come. And she works tirelessly every day to continue to move our party and our country forward. Mary Lou, Michelle, and Rita, it is an honor to call you my sisters and a privilege to call you my friends. There are a number of U.S. trade union delegates that are here. I want to point out one because otherwise I could go on forever, and I know we're here to listen to Jerry Adams. But I want to recognize John Samuelson, the international president of the Transport Workers Union, that is here with us. And I would be remiss if I didn't recognize one of your own, one of our own, a Sinn Féiner and a great friend of mine. And today, well, this week is his 70th birthday, Joseph Smith from New York City. Brothers and sisters, for me, like many of Ireland's exiled children in America, every trip to Ireland is a homecoming. To a beloved land that my ancestors, like many others, were forced to leave because of famine, persecution, poverty, and foreign occupation. As a proud citizen of both Ireland and the United States, whose family, was already said, came from Glencar and County Kerry, it is a pleasure, a privilege, and an honor to once again have the opportunity to address you. My friends, no single political party anywhere in the world has done more to advance the causes of economic justice, self-determination, freedom from foreign rule, and Irish unity than Sinn Féin. This truly is a party of giants. Sadly, earlier this year, we lost one of those giants, and one of the most joyful, decent, and honorable men I've ever known, Martin McGuinness. In his eulogy, President Bill Clinton eloquently praised Martin for expanding the definition of us and shrinking the definition of them. Martin knew that regardless of our political differences, we are bound together by our common heritage, language, culture, and desire for self-determination. Martin was a brave freedom fighter who became a courageous architect of peace and fought till his last days for the principles of equality and justice. In doing all this, Martin, to me, became one of the greatest Irish leaders of all time. The name McGuinness now joins Pearse, Larkin, Conley, Markowitz, Sands, and so many other patriots who have fought for Ireland over the centuries. Well, Martin left us far too soon. His work, his legacy, and his spirit must be carried on. Last March, standing in a cold cemetery in Derry, I was reminded of the words of another Martin, Martin Luther King Jr., who proclaimed the night before his death, "Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go to the mountain, and I've looked over, and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land." Brothers and sisters, Martin McGuinness helped bring us closer to our promised land of a free, just, and united Ireland than we've ever been before. These past 20 years have demonstrated that despite our differences, change is possible. Bobby Sands' promise rings true all across this beloved island, and how sweet his revenge sounds. But we won't allow the success of recent years to blind us to current political threats, such as the return of hard borders. An entire generation has come of age, not knowing the watchtowers, the armed guards, the tanks in the streets, the dark days and murderous nights of that tragic time. Brothers and sisters, we can't go back. We won't go back. We will not allow anyone or any movement to ever pull us back, my friends. We must use this turning point in history to rise up, to come together, to stand together, and to fight together against the artificial and unjust separations of the past. All of Ireland faces the same challenges, regardless of whether we live in the 26 or the 6. The conflict we face today is division versus unity, rich versus poor. Today, the us that Martin expanded is all of Ireland. The them is anyone and everyone who would once again wall off part of this nation from another, such as the narrow-minded, short-sighted leaders of the DUP and the British government who stand in the way of the Irish people's desire for unity and independence. We are one people, united in our desire for justice and equality for all the citizens of this great island. We have come too far, fought too hard, and accomplished too much together. I'll be damned, we'll be damned, we are not going to go back. My Sinn Féin brothers and sisters, we will never go back. We will only move forward, united as one. Today, on behalf of the 500,000 strong, proud, and united men and women of LIUNA and the American labor movement, I am here to tell you that we stand with you, we will work with you, and we will fight with you to erase any false borders imposed upon this island. We pledge our solidarity because we believe that what James Conley said a century ago, still holds true today. The cause of Labour is the cause of Ireland. The cause of Ireland is the cause of Labour. Just as we resist attempts to pit worker against worker, so we stand shoulder to shoulder with you to resist attempts to pit Irish against Irish. For Irish American trade unionists, dedication and commitment to both Labour and Ireland is in our blood, our sweat, our tears, our toil, and our very DNA. It compels us to never lose sight of the connection between national liberation and social justice. Like James Connolly, we know that freedom cannot exist without justice, and justice cannot exist without freedom. We demand one government, one country, and one land for a proud and noble people divided for far too long. If we are to truly honor our heritage and history, we must continue the work begun by those who came before us. The greatest homage we can pay to Martin McGuinness and to all those who have worked for, fought for, and even died for the cause is to recommit ourselves not only to the building a world of economic justice for all, but to finally achieving a free and united Ireland. My friends, the challenges we face and the problems that lie ahead are significant, but they're not insurmountable. We are the descendants of mighty warriors who stood up to the black and tans, fought the British, and defeated one of the world's most powerful empires. We were born with passion in our hearts, battle in our blood, and fire in our veins. We, proud sons and daughters of Ireland, have endured foreign invasions, genocide by famine, and brutal occupation. Together, we have battled for workers' rights, women's rights, civil rights, and human rights. We have supported the peace process, the Good Friday Agreement, and power sharing in the North. So like Connolly and Larkin, Sands and McGuinness, like all those who came before us, we together must rise up against oppression, stand up against division, and speak up for justice. We must never again be divided. We together will resist false imperialist borders. We will stand together, we will stay together, we will work together, we will fight together, and we will win together. And in so doing, we together will change the course, the direction, and the destiny of this great nation. We won't let any son of a bitch, whether it's another government or an opposition party, divide us, conquer us, separate us, subjugate us, or exploit us. We won't let any foreign occupier ever again pit brother against brother, sister against sister, or family against family. We are done with division. We are done with submission, and we sure as hell are done with separation. We are one people, united, undivided, unbroken, unbowed, and unafraid. So as we leave this hall tonight, let us make the ground shake, the walls tremble, the skies thunder, and the mountains echo with our righteous determination never to be divided again. Fight on, brothers and sisters. Fight on!